Hello, Squirrel Tribe. Listen, just 2 days ago, acting in theory, President Joe Biden went to Texas. But he went to Austin, Texas. You know, the only blue part of Texas. He didn't go to the red part of Texas because they would have been like, sir, no thank you, scoot scoot. So he went to Austin, Texas to give his speech at the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act at the Lyndon B. Johnson Library. He went there basically to crap all over the Supreme Court, okay? He went in there and he talked about how the Supreme Court has become so extreme and he wants to put in all these sweeping changes in the next however many days he has left in office, and he wants to implement massive changes. One of those being term limits. He wants 18-year term limits. And my first thought was, bro, if presidents can't even be a president or be in the Oval Office in any capacity for more than 8 years, why do we have such long terms for everybody else to begin with? Yes, right now, a Supreme Court justice, I think is the right word, they can be in there until literally the day they die. Think Ruth Bader Ginsburg and everybody else. Literally, they croak and then they're done. 18 years still feels like a really long time. I mean, if you're going to go through and make sweeping changes, make bigger sweeping changes, right? In theory. But anyway, so he went to Lyndon B. Johnson Library in Austin to give this speech. He unveiled his plan for the Supreme Court reform, which also included an enforceable ethics code for the 9 justices. Now, there was an op-ed in the Washington Post on Monday that talked about it. If you guys saw it, I'll try to find a link to it and put it in here. If not, in like the pinned comment. Now, he also called on Congress to pass a constitutional amendment to limit presidential immunity. Constitutional amendment. That seems severe and extreme, right? His new thing now is talking about how presidents aren't kings and blah, 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 blah. All because there's what happened with the Supreme Court where they said that presidents have a certain kind of immunity that, I'm paraphrasing the crap out of this, that basically gives them the ability of a king, right? No matter who it is, Republican, Democrat, whatever president it is, man, woman, black, white, whatever, they have the immunity or the abilities of a king. Supreme Court decided on, right? So now Biden wants to go through and make all these sweeping changes right before, in theory, they find a way to shove Kamala Harris into the office. Because if they didn't, okay, anyway, this nation is founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. He said no one is above the law, except for his son, Hunter Biden. They forgot that part in the article. But anyway, Biden's plan would give sitting presidents the power to appoint a Supreme Court justice every 2 years. These justices would have 18-year term limits instead of lifetime appointments and be subject to an ethics code that would require them to disclose gifts, refrain from public political activity, and recuse themselves from cases in which they or their spouses have conflicts of interest, which is a nod basically to the controversy that was surrounding Justice Clarence Thomas and his wife, Ginny, and their proximity to conservative activists and donors, which is why this is all coming about, because of conservative activists and donors and stuff like that. If it had been on the flip side, I'm pretty sure we'd hear crickets from Biden. Now, he's saying that all these things need to change, all this stuff needs to happen, blah, 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 blah. And you think to yourself, well, that could be good, that could be bad. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, it could be a good thing for everybody, right? It could be a bad thing for everybody. That's going to be a preferential, opinionated thing for each person. I was kind of curious about what else was said. So I went to whitehouse.gov and I pulled up the briefing room speech that he gave on the anniversary, the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, because that's what he did in Texas. And I pulled up the whole thing. And there's a part in here that as soon as I read it, I thought to myself, you would think that the sitting president would be above loading the country with lies, spewing lies and bullcrap and whatever at the country. And we should know by now that's not the case. You want to hope that your sitting president is going to have a little bit of morals, a little bit of ethics, whatever else, and not drop to the scare tactics that his side is using to try to keep people from voting Republican. In essence, keep people from voting for Trump, really. Because in his speech that he gave, he says here, if I can get to it, after 100 years, nomination, Supreme Court Justice, no. He starts talking about, Roe versus Wade and how that was overturned and everything else. The nation was founded on principles, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is it. For example, this is what the President of the United States said. With no proof, no backing. Actually, the proof is there that this is fully inaccurate, and yet he said this in a briefing that has gone out to the nation, right? For example, Project 2025 calls for aggressively attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion all across all aspects of American life. This extreme MAGA movement even proposes to end birthright citizenship. That's how far they've come. End birthright citizenship, which if you're born in America, you're an American citizen. That's how extreme these guys are. This issue and so many other civil rights that Americans take for granted are likely to come before the court in the years to come. And most recently and most shockingly, the Supreme Court established in Trump v. the United States a dangerous precedent. They ruled, as you know, that the president of the United States has immunity for potential, because that's how Biden talks, for potential crimes he may have committed while in office. Immunity. This nation was founded on the principle there are no kings in America. Then there was some weird smattering of applause. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. And for all practical purposes, the court's decision almost certainly means that a president can violate their oath, flout our laws, and face no consequences. Here's the problem. Numerous problems here. One of them being, he's making it seem like they did this for Trump. This literally, the king bullcrap that they keep talking about is for any president. It now goes into effect for Joe Biden himself. He has the ability to be immune from stuff too. It is not just Trump if Trump gets elected on November 5th. It's not just Kamala Harris if, God forbid, she gets elected on November 5th. It's literally every president to come, all right? But here's the problem. This extreme MAGA movement even proposed. This extreme MAGA movement is enough for me to know that our president does not give two shits about truth, because this is not a MAGA movement. I mean, Make America Great Again, yes, the Project 2025 has things in there that are designed in theory to make America great again. But this is not a Trump movement. This is not a MAGA movement. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. This is the Heritage Foundation who wrote this thing. Who do you think wrote the Build Back Better crap? You think Joe Biden pulled that out his butt? No, I'm pretty sure there was a team of people who wrote this whole thing for him and he implemented it. Project 2025 was not written for Donald Trump. It was written for the next conservative president to look over and possibly implement some or all of the things. Donald Trump just happens to be the Republican on the ballot to be that next conservative Republican president. It's not a Donald Trump thing. It's not a MAGA thing. It's not a thing that's even going to go into effect. Donald Trump has already said he does not want anything to do with Project 2025. He has Agenda 47. He has his own thing. And then honestly, that in the birthright citizenship, do you know why Project 2025 has it in there? Have you seen how many illegal immigrants that this Biden administration has allowed to cross our southern borders? You have millions upon millions of people coming in with no legal right to be here, not paying taxes, getting handouts from our government, and then if they pop a baby out, they're immediately an American citizen, and then what? Then they start getting benefits in a different way, right? Like, I can understand the end birthright citizenship. It would make sense, but here's the problem. The reason they're pushing for this, and this is one of those topics I'm not allowed to talk about on this platform. This platform has already slapped me on the wrist numerous times for talking about election stuff because they would rather the false narrative be pushed than the truth. Here's the problem. This is why Biden does not want this to go through and why they're so worried about it, because then it would push somebody who's probably going to make it onto the Democrat ballot out of eligibility. That is all I can literally say, or else they will take this whole video away like they did with another one. That's all I can say. You guys are smart enough to figure it out. We can figure it out in comments. We can write it out in comments. I cannot hear. It's absolutely effing stupid, the amount of censorship that is being placed on people who speak the truth and don't just fall into whatever line of BS that is being pushed right now, because this platform, like many others, is bought and paid for by the same people who have bought and paid for the Biden administration. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I don't play their rules, and I keep getting smacked for it. So anyway, this whole thing pissed me off immensely, and it should piss you off too, that your sitting president willingly, knowingly lied in order to incite fear and panic in people in hopes of getting them to vote a certain way. Because that's all this is their hopes of getting people to vote a certain way by lying to them. Because if they came out and were completely honest about absolutely everything, nobody would ever go to the left side, the dark side. We know it. You know it. I know it. We know it. They do too, which is why they lie so friggin' much about absolutely everything. I had a video with you know what? I can't show you the video because then I'm going to get copyrights and stuff there. So there goes that. Oh, but I will share this because it's hilarious. Please hold. Let me see if I can get this to come up. Wait.
No former president. Not me. Not one. should have been given any exception to this.
I don't feel no
what?
ways, Tiger.
What? I don't even know what just happened. It cracks me up every single time. I'm like, what did you just say, sir? Literally, if you look at the words, it says, and then they just threw a bunch of letters together to show you what he said. This other thing that I had that I wanted to show you guys, if I can get it to come up here. Yeah, Joe Biden says his legacy as president is that he's cured the economy. Joe Biden thinks he has cured the economy. Let me just put this into perspective for you. Groceries are so expensive that some people are choosing not to eat because it's either eat or be able to pay for gas or pay for your rent or your mortgage or pay for your health insurance, pay for your kids to have food at school, their school clothes or school supplies or whatever, pay for your medications if you're on Medicaid, Medicare, whatever, all these different things. I live in an area that is very touristy. It makes a ton of money over the summer. Literally one of the biggest restaurants in my area closed down without notice yesterday, just closed. Big Lots across the street, store closing. Numerous other locations closing. Sounds like a great economy to me when businesses are going out left and right, going bankrupt, having to close locations, lay off people. That does not sound like a great economy to me, sir. And if that's your legacy, technically the economy is your legacy, just not in the delusional way that you think. The economy is your legacy in the way that it took you only 4 years to fuck this place up beyond all recognition. That's what your legacy is. That's what you're going to be left with. Not that you did anything good, but your build back better, you meant destroy it all first. Now we have to wait for the better. And it's not going to come from the same side that destroyed it. We need a different direction to build it back the correct way. So that's it. That's just, I saw those things. We needed to have the discussion. Let's see how many wrist slaps I get for this one. Squirrel Tribe, love y'all immensely. We'll see you again tomorrow. My mother and my husband's mother are coming in town tomorrow, so I'm super excited. So you might see me later in the day, but I'll be here. But I'll be enjoying family most of the time. So I love y'all. See you again later. Bye.